I'll message Scott real quick too. All right, well, I called the meeting to order. I've messaged Scott and we'll see if he's gonna be joining us. Maybe he's just running a little late. But otherwise, everyone else is here. Austin Burton, Michael Ruff, Linda Powell, Mike Yoder, and Jill Schwartz. All right, first thing on the agenda is to approve the January Park Board report. Does anybody have any questions, adjustments, or edits?
I looked it over pretty good. I thought it looked okay.
Yeah, I didn't have any changes, so I'll make a motion to accept the minutes. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Okay, all in favor?
I
Aye. Aye. Vote carries, minutes approved. And Scott said he is on his way, so you can list him as present. Next thing up is the budget 101. If you guys would just like to go into that, Mike, the floor is yours. And then once you're done, if any of us have questions, we'll shoot them your way.
Okay, so it's actually fairly simple and straightforward once you understand the entire structure. So this is where a lot of things start, is with the 2026 budget order, and this is a good place to start. So again, once the town has accepted the budget, we have a certified budget for all of these funds. The county has also certified the AV. So you know what your AV is, and you have a certified levy. Anyways, you divide all that and you get a certified tax rate. And
AV
that
stands for assessed value.
assessed value. Yeah. Okay, sorry. So the important thing on here is for you to understand, which I think has led to some misunderstanding in the past. The park board has its own tax rate. It's 0.0252. The council can adjust that. In fact, they did adjust that lower about 4 years ago. And but otherwise, the money that that you generate from that, which is $86,000 for this tax year, is your money and stays in that fund. So that's how the amount of money you receive. It's lower than what the budget was, but that's just the way things worked out. So you're getting $86,697 from property taxes this year, and that's your money. So we'll switch over. And for those who are live streaming, I'm going to switch to so they can follow along with this. So here's our budget. You've seen this before. So sometime, I don't know what is, August, September, we start working on the budget. So we're working on the next year's budget when you're only halfway through this year's budget. And that makes things always interesting. But this is the old form. This year we'll probably be using the form that's in our new financial software because it's such a nice program. So we include here for the park board to review. This was the original 2025 budget, plus if we went after any additional monies last year, that would be added in there. And over here, I would put the year to date as of, this was as of October. When you first saw it was much earlier in the year, but as we get further in the year, I always update this to make sure we're on track. So then you insert your budget numbers and put any notes in there. And you've seen all this before, so we came up with a $91,260 budget. So at the bottom here, we do this, I do this, and the new software does this automatically as we keep track of our monies. Now, I'm skeptical of the 64,000. That's where we began a year ago. That number doesn't look right to me, but that's what's in there. Hello, Scott.
Hi.
We just
So
started.
last year, it was projected that we would receive $89,000 in property tax revenue. That was a projection. Our old software didn't capture that very easily or well, but our new software will capture those actual revenues. And we ended up the year. So we began this year. Here's the important number. We began this year, the park board, with $87,362. So if all these numbers are correct, we spent about 20,000 less than what we planned on spending. So this year we have 86,000 that we'll be receiving. And our budget is 91,000, so you're expending more than what revenues are projected to come in. And if we stay within that, you'll still start next year with about $82,000. And of course, you have your other two funds, the donation fund, which has 13,000 in it. And then it says non-reverting, but it's really just a capital fund. So you have 120,000 available for capital projects.
We did.
What's that?
We did. We spent 40,000 of that for the basketball.
Oh, that's right. Yep, that came out of that. I didn't double check the fund number to see if that's accurate.
Yeah.
So
Well, the
question-
40,000
question.
though, part of that came from the town
I have a
council's
question.
20,000 they were gonna give in.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
So if we didn't use $20,000 from last year,
It stayed right there. That's the reason your balance is 87,000.
okay. So that was more advantageous than to only take 20,000 out of the non-reverting?
You could do either way. So the town council has agreed again this year to take, is it 10,000 or 20?
I thought it was 10.
Okay, 10,000.
10,000.
Yeah. And they'll, unless we have a project we want to pay for directly out of that, Kathy will transfer that 10,000 into your capital fund this year.
Okay. Question? Another one? Okay, so now totally the town. Is their budget going down every year like ours is?
Your budget actually went up. Your revenues went down.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever, we're getting less money. Is the town getting less money too?
Yes, well, first of all, I'm not sure we got less money because this 89,000 was a projection.
Okay,
So I don't know exactly what we got last year offhand. It looks like, well.
I just gotta keep my eye on it. Just-
I know you.
All right,
So the answer is we should be getting a little over 3% more money this year than we did last year.
all right.
So revenues are creeping up at about 3% a year, generally speaking.
That's being conservative, yeah.
And is that for increased cost of?
That's because the state mandates that's all the revenue we can generate. Our costs can go up 20%, doesn't make any difference. We can only raise 3% more from property tax.
Oh, right, the revenues.
Yeah.
That's capped.
Yep.
Okay.
So the town could triple in size and we could still only raise 3% more money than we did the year before to operate.
Gotcha.
That's not good.
That is terrible.
That is not good. at all.
Especially for growing communities.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions or?
Nope.
Okay,
Let me see. I think you answered quite a few of the ones I had typed.
Austin, real fast to recap that. Mike went a little quickly, but you have line items in each,
oh, yeah, so,
category.
Mhm.
So it sort of shows you what you have budgeted in each of those.
We can move money from one category to another if we need to.
And I did have a question about that. Can we do that anytime? Are there certain times of year that we do that? I mean, it seems like we're kind of reallocating money towards the end of the year, but I didn't know if it was,
you know, generally wait till the end of the year and make those shifts. That way it's a one-time event. The end of the year, we balance everything out.
I generally don't say this, but it's up with our new program too. It's great to sort of deplete those appropriations because it will take that into account for next year's budget to go, oh, let's say contractual services, you actually went 1,000 or 2,000 more. It's gonna help us better budget for future
Okay, good.
years.
Yeah, that was one of my questions too.
So don't be hesitant to go, negative. We have in other line items to make the transfers.
And then is there a certain time of year that we have that request for the new budget go to town council? And is that done in
Yeah,
November, December?
September, August, September, October in there.
Okay. And how does that request go to them? Is that something that like you go and present our budget? Are you presenting our budget to them?
Mike basically does the budget and presents it to us. And
Yeah.
then we go over that
Yeah.
budget. and
You
then-
approve it, you
We
approve your
approve it.
budget, and,
Then give it back to Mike and Mike takes it to the council.
Yeah, okay. So that's, we approve it first and then it goes to the town council.
as long, I don't see the council ever messing with your budget, as long as you're within your means.
Now, I was gonna, one of my questions was if we've ever had any problems in the past, shortfalls or whatever that didn't, that weren't covered just by shifting some funds around, but.
I don't think we have ever gone over our budget as long as I've been on the board, and that's been a mighty long
We've
time.
reverted commonly just about every year, so.
It's been about 15% back
Mhm.
most years.
So we're determining like the 2026 budget, that's basically, I'm just, I guess, restating what you said, that it's just based on what the previous year's expenses were, and then if we
That's the
foresee an
baseline,
increase or
that's
anything
the
like that,
baseline, and then you guys make adjustments as you see fit.
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at toilets.
That's
Where's
what-
toilets?
Yeah, that's one where we've had a pretty big increase in costs.
Right there, so. That, at the time, we'd use 50%, but I don't know what that date was. It says October, but I wonder if that's accurate now. But anyways, we decided that 75 or 7,000, 7,500 was better than 5,000.
You only see it getting busier.
You can see the water.
Oh, well, here, I see what's going on here. In October, we'd already spent 6,000, so we were 1,000 over our budget in October.
Yeah.
And, so
And
clearly.
we had a late season with
Yeah.
restrooms this year with the warmer weather.
Yeah, this percent change it. Sometimes this is a percent of the budget used, but this, we increased our budget 50% is what this is saying.
2025, 26.
And see if they put the community garden up.
Mm-hmm.
But we've added a different toilet structure than what we used to have too. We have a handicap in every park. So,
Do we have a handicapped in Condon?
Yes,
We do,
we have one of each.
okay.
It's over by the boat ramp is where the two of them are
Yeah.
now. We moved them away from the street because people were trashing them.
Yep.
So we have two there and then we have two at Cummins where we used to only have one at one of those parks. So that's where we've increased some of our sanitation
Yeah.
needs. And we did used to have all of those year round. Now we pretty much do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really increased that from when I first got on the park board. So.
So say, for example, we wanted to look into, like, in the next couple of years, building some physical structures for bathrooms, not going with porta potties. How would we work the budget out for that? Is that a request?
you'd have
You're
to-
running about
You'd have to dig into these.
$12,000 or
Yeah.
something like that.
Well, you
Number
dig
one,
into
we don't
these
have enough
things.
money.
Sure, yeah, no, it's just a hypothetical.
We did look
yes.
into that maybe 6 years ago, and we have plans, we had plans made up and everything, and it was over $10,000.
If you want to see a nice one, that would probably fit into our parks, go to Walker Park and look at the new one they just put in.
Yeah, there's new ones at Bonneville Mill as well that
Yeah,
are pretty nice.
and I think it's a similar company that put them in, but the one that they just installed in Walker Park's very nice.
But from a budget standpoint, if that was something that we wanted to look into, is that something like we would add to next
Capital.
year's request?
It's
or
a
that's not
capital purchase, so,
Yeah.
yeah, you would,
I would be into a the reverting fund thing. Would be into that.
And another thing would be maybe the planting project for hermits, the cost for plants for that wetland area. Is that something that would come out of a park improvement
Ground
fund?
improvements.
Ground
well,
improvements?
Ground improvements.
you've got 25,000 between those two right now.
And that's something we've set aside the money for, I don't know, at least twice that I
Yeah,
can think of.
yeah, I was looking at it, it was in 2024, I think, when we first started talking about it, so.
And we've set that money aside twice.
Well, that was very informative, and I think you covered all the questions that I had, Mike and Jill. Thank you. Did anybody else have questions or thoughts on the budget? Okay. Thank you for that thrilling lesson.
It was a ride, yeah.
Budget 101.
Budget 101, big success. And these are streamed and then it's saved on the town's website, right? If we wanted to go back and look at it.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Okay. All right, and if nobody has any other questions about Budget 101, moving on to the next thing on the agenda, online reservation process that Bill Schwartz
Yeah.
brought to our attention.
Give you guys an update. A few weeks ago, I sent an email out to get your guys' opinion on starting an option on our website for online reservations for our park rentals, sorry. So you guys were okay with moving forward with that. We've been working with the company that does our website. I'm coming to you tonight with an additional request. So during the implementation process, working out those details and then understanding our process and what it looks like. So we ran into a few hiccups. So one of our first hiccups is we have two rental rates for Herman's Park. We have one for our residents and we have one for non-residents. So their platform, at least with the module that we've selected, can allow two rates because one, how would they know if it's a resident versus a non-resident? So not that the decision has to be done tonight on this, but I was gonna talk to the board to see, maybe we just have one rental rate. And maybe it's a in between, or maybe our residents pay the same as non-residents, because looking around, I mean, our rental rate is still pretty, I won't say the lowest, but lower around for an indoor facility for an all-day rental. So that's something to consider, but we can still move forward with this online reservation. Just for those who are residents are gonna have to come inside to get that, the reduced rate. The next thing we ran into is this is supposed to be convenient for us and for those renting our park. So right now, with the module, it's not going to allow the renter to fill out the application online. So it's just basic information that we need. But with our program is set up, we're gonna have to print the paperwork out. They're gonna have to come in and fill it out. So they can add an additional, for the implementation, a $750 fee. Now what that does, it builds 3 custom, they call it gravity forms for the agreements. So Hermance, Cummins, and for Condon Park. It will add authorization boxes. So those are signing, like they read the rules, the guidelines, the cleaning checklist, and that they have, they're agreeing to those terms. And that is a one-time fee. My next question was, what if we have changes? There's times we add change of a contact number or change in a rental rate. Soon as that's done, we will be able to get in there and make those edits. In the background, it didn't make it sound like there would be any additional fees if there were ever edits made. I'm trying to go over the details real fast and not miss any of that. So with the first one time, the implementation of getting the online reservation set up, and if the council would decide to have the agreements more of a PDF fillable option, it would be a $1,200 setup fee. And then the ongoing annual cost to have this would be $75 as it was proposed to you guys originally.
75 a month
No, annually,
annually.
$75 annually going forward. The calendar will show those dates that are available, dates that are even reserved. Everything will be seamless besides them having to come in still regardless. If we add that online fillable option, they're gonna have to come in and pay the deposit because of sales tax. So once they set up any of the fee structures, it's sales tax or no sales tax, so they can't
Mhm.
change that. Obviously, we don't charge sales tax on a deposit that we're holding. So we'll have everything filled out online. We'll have the reservation fee paid. And then they have so many days to come in then to, one, give us the deposit. And then after we receive the deposit, we can give them the keyless entry. So nothing will move forward. They'll lose their reservation if they do not follow those steps, which we've done some trial runs with it. It's very clear and it states that to the individual. Plus we'll have all their contact information if we have to reach out to them. Elbert City is doing a very similar thing. Talk to Elbert County Parks. They've been doing it for about 7 to 8 years. They do all their parks that way, their programs, it works well. But I just don't know at the additional cost if you guys like that online, filling the agreements out. Otherwise, it almost feels like the process would be the same as what we're doing now, because they would have to come in to do everything besides pay for the rental. So,
I like them to be able to fill it out online. What do you guys
Yeah, I
think?
agree. And it's the difference is just in the one-time setup fee.
correct,
$450 more.
$750 more. So it was the one I proposed to
Okay.
you guys a few weeks ago was $450 just to get the implementation for the calendar and reserving. And it's because of what they call the gravity forms and the pages that they have to create to allow that. And I will tell you that's above me. I don't know that side of that world.
Yeah, I think if anything that makes it easier for people to make reservations and especially see if dates are already taken, that'll save you guys on.
So
time.
basically, they would be able to do everything online, except they would have to come in and do their money,
Pay the deposit.
the deposit. And the money.
And we can work, let's just say someone from out of town or out of state doing this for a family reunion. I mean, we can work with them. They can mail us the check too, or a money order, whatever works for them. We can do that, but most people are local where they have no problem coming in.
And
No,
it gives them a number to call then if they're in that situation.
Yeah, oh yeah. On the agreement form, it has the contact information for after hours and business hours.
Okay.
And Elbert County Parks, I asked her how that works for them, and she says they have the standard key. So they have to come in whatever day prior to their reservation to get the key, but they won't give the key until they get the deposit. So I figured we'll just do the same setup. You won't get your keyless entry until you come in and pay your deposit. So
Sounds good.
if you guys are okay with that, I mean, we can move
Do we make a
forward with the digital.
motion? Do you want us to make a motion?
I would.
I move that we go with the program where they can fill everything out online and then come in and do their money and their deposit, get their key,
I'll second.
What's the dollar amount?
1,200, right?
Yeah, the combined one-time cost is $1,200.
1,200 and then
And
$75
$75
annually then.
So that's the motion. We're spending the one-time 1,200 and then the annual fee is 75.
Yes.
Michael, you still second?
I still second. Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Vote carries
Do you need to go to the one fee for the building?
That's what I was gonna ask, is if
Oh,
anyone has thoughts about the one fee, is there, are town folks gonna be livid that they have to pay the same as somebody from out of town?
I would go in between the $2 amounts. I kind of like that idea,
yeah,
If we do that, we're gonna lose a little bit of revenue on rent then.
but I mean, it's something, you're giving one a break and the other one comes up, with- I don't know, that's just kind of what I thought, just pick one fee, but go in between the two.
So right now, residents are $125 plus the sales tax, non-residents are $175.
150.
And I think it's been a while since we've even had an increase, to be honest.
Are most of the rentals from out of town?
I
Yeah,
would say
was gonna
yes.
ask if you had any
I
idea.
don't have a percentage, I should look that
Yeah.
up.
What's the area amount? Like, what if we jumped up to $200? Is that still outrageous? Is that outrageous? Because I honestly have no idea. That's why I'm asking.
I can't speak for all, I think that would be a reasonable rate. Especially with the additional costs we've done with the cleaning, the improvements, I mean, to the park. Those, that, that revenue helps keep those improvements happening.
Is that the same rate for any of the parks? I mean, the Hermance, is that just the Hermance Pavilion?
Correct.
Okay.
Condon and Cummins, we don't have a resident versus non-resident rate, those two outdoor, are $50 plus sales tax. Once
and
again,
we're
it's all day.
175 for non-resident
Correct.
and 150 for resident.
125.
125.
So there's a $50 discount for those residents.
Should we
So
do
either take it up
150
to,
and
that's what I originally thought.
review it after the year and see what kind of
Probably
an effect
you're
it
gonna
had on
lose-
our,
You're gonna lose some money.
Maybe what we could do too, if we wait a year, I'm not saying we can do that, but we can monitor how many are online reservations versus the walk-ins. That way we'll have a better tracking.
I'd say go non-residential fee,
So 175.
the 175.
is there, I mean, you're mentioning walk-ins, is there any way to do the residential fee for walk-ins?
Absolutely.
Let people know that if they want the town resident rate, they can come in and do that in person, but if you're gonna sign up online, you pay the,
And that's the way we have
Right.
it set up right now.
So you take it up to 150 and 175, but you only get the 150 if you come in here.
Oh, you're talking about period. No, I wouldn't.
No,
It's,
no, if they sign up online, it's 175. They come into the building and sign up.
and show that they're a
and
resident.
that just defeated the purpose of us doing.
You're
it.
gonna,
Everyone's
you're
come
gonna,
in
you're
and-
gonna put more
Okay.
people, more people are gonna
That's
be
why I
in.
just said, why don't we just take it up to $200? If you don't think that's outrageous.
I think
Those
that'd be
renting
doable. I
might feel
think.
differently.
Yeah.
I mean,
We need I don't do this. We need feedback. I don't know.
Do we have any, recurring renters, like people that come the same date every year because they have a reunion
no,
or
we
something
have
like
people
that?
that rent every year, just maybe not the same weekend or the same month,
Okay,
but yeah.
yeah, I'm wondering, or, if we do this, if there are gonna be people
I've
who
never
are
had
like,
anyone call.
I've been
no,
paying
"Ooh, that's
$125."
out of our budget.
Yeah.
I mean, now we also have a pavilion that doesn't have a lot of amenities, right?
No air
Right.
condition,
Um,
open the window.
Yeah, there is no air conditioning.
but with that being said, if we do increase that rental rate, we have a little bit more revenue to make improvements.
Well, it'll take 7 rentals to pay your one-time fee on that. 6 rentals anyways, $1,200.
I would not be opposed to doing 200, and then you look at it at the end of the year and see if it had an impact on our rentals. You got any way of tracking too, if people say, oh, well, I'm not gonna pay that much, and they turn it down?
Not if you move it all to online, you don't.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's,
residents versus non-residents, just to have a flat rate then. And just leave Condon and Cummins alone.
Mhm.
Okay, so do we have a motion?
I make a motion, we increase to $200 for Herman's Park Pavilion.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Vote carried unanimously. Yeah, and then we'll just check back on this same time next year and see.
Or we can involve in 6 months and sort of
Sure,
review like,
that'd be great if we can track those kinds of changes and just know what impact it has on the rentals. But yeah, let's get moving forward with that. I think people will like that option of being able to sign up online. Thank you for working on that.
so will our office, so thank you.
I thought so too.
And maybe you won't even know, no one will be calling to complain because they'll be filling it out online.
It will until they come and pay their deposit.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. Anything else on that for us, Jill?
No, that would be all I had for that item. Thank you.
Next thing we had on there was the farmer's market, but Jill and I agreed that there's probably not enough new information to discuss that again this month. We'll check back in a couple months.
My wife said she filled out whatever you sent her.
Yes, she did email me back.
Okay.
Besides, Michael, real fast, we're not looking at a park to host it. Is that
Right,
something you wanted to
right.
update the park board?
Yeah, we did determine a location, probably gonna use one of the local churches, so the parks won't really be involved in it.
At least not at this moment.
Yeah.
I heard that from my wife.
You got anything?
Unless, and that's what the next thing is on the agenda, I wanted to bring back to the board the idea of hiring a park employee that we had. And at this point, I guess I just want to maybe I should have put that under new business to talk about for next meeting. But I'd like us to consider whether we want to hire a park employee. We have money in the budget for a part-time employee. And Mike and I spoke this afternoon, and the big question would just be, what would the tasks for that park employee be? So I wondered if anybody had ideas now they'd like to share, or if they'd like to think about that for next meeting and come to the next meeting with a list of.
What would the pay be?
We have 3,000 budgeted.
Okay.
For a part-time position.
That's just a summer. Don't know.
It would depend on what kind of tasks we have worked out for them. If it's primarily helping us get volunteers for, say, spring cleanups, park events, that kind of thing, I think that would be seasonal. But if we were to get into a position where we'd want to have somebody assist with grant writing and that type of thing, that's stuff that you can do in the off season. So do we want to throw out ideas now, or just table that till next month and come back with our list of ideas for possible tasks or jobs for a park employee?
I would prefer that because I was not ready to discuss an employee.
Right.
I got nothing. So
I couldn't hear you.
He said he doesn't have anything because he didn't know this was going to be on the discussion, so he'd prefer to wait till next month to bring list items for that. And then if we feel like we do end up with enough tasks that that's something we want to look into, then the next step would be developing a job description that met those needs of those tasks, that task list.
do we still have the job description from the previous?
I'm sure we do. Well, I guess I shouldn't say so. That would be a question for Mike. Do we still have the previous job description from the?
We have a job description, but it was
The dual role.
what?
The dual role.
A dual role.
Yeah,
I'm
And
assuming
it
we
was
wanna-
really targeted, I think, summer kids programs, wasn't it? Activities on the,
Well, I'm thinking of Jen and Kristen both, at least in my
Yeah.
year's experience, and they
I've seen
both sort
Kristen.
of, Kristen had a little bit more park,
Mhm.
but it's always sort of been like admin slash arts.
Yeah.
Sort of got,
And I'm assuming we don't want to do that. Am I wrong to assume that you guys wouldn't necessarily need an extra set of hands working on things like that?
I think it,
my concern was if we're trying to move kids from one place downtown to Condon Park, right through a construction zone.
I
well,
don't
we're
think
not
we,
doing a summer park program, are we?
right.
Right, because of the construction zone is where I was going.
So
Well,
that's
I didn't know
something,
that's what this position would be doing.
I didn't know what this position was going
Oh.
to be. That's what we're trying to
yeah.
decide.
So
I
I'll
don't
fill you
want
guys
to
in
do
more.
a summer park program.
Yeah.
Like, I don't,
I
Let
hope
the
not, I just
library
got rid
do
of all
that.
the supplies.
let the library do that sort of stuff. We don't want to do that.
Okay.
So the list of tasks for that
Yeah, well,
employee
should
would be,
separate.
I would think if we were doing, if we had an employee, that he would be helping with things like the Herman's wetlands area, help plant that, that would be
Yeah.
part of it, keeping the doggy bags filled up. Some of the stuff
Right.
that the guys are doing that they don't need to do during the summer because this person could do it.
and they
And it would free them up to do their mowing and
right,
all
they
that
could
kind
do
of
more
stuff.
maintenance type things and
Mhm.
like one thing I don't know if we've talked about it before, but one thing I'd like to
Like
see is
painting,
having
even painting.
a sign board down at the park that we could have, um, posters about events, updates for community events. And that would be something that would need to be maintained. Someone would need to go down there and put the posters up and take them down. And that's kind of something I would
And
think
no
of.
reservations.
So, all right, so we'll work on that for next meeting. Start your list of ideas for tasks for a part-time park employee. And we'll use that list to determine if we have enough work for someone to do that. And then we can work on a job description if that's what we come up with. Okay, any other thoughts on that?
How much do we say it would take?
Well, we have 3,000 allocated. And do we know what we paid hourly for the previous part-time employee?
I have 18 in my.
I do too. I
Okay,
think you
Yeah, it
know,
was $17 or $18 an hour.
okay, okay. Nobody has anything else. I wanted to bring back to the table the wetland planting project in Hermance Park. Sorry for the delay on that. That is on me. But I did work with some master gardeners and the county water conservation folks gave us some input as well. And I do have a list of plants that they say will work really well in that area. And we focused on things that will be good at handling the wet and also lower maintenance needs because we don't want to have a lot of extra work for our maintenance team to take care of that. If we have a park employee, they could help with finding volunteers, but I think I have, when we were originally talking about just this is the area right here. I don't know if you guys can see. That was the original area that we planned for where the playground equipment used to be. And I probably could field enough volunteers to handle the planting of that. But if we're gonna really expand the size of that, we might want to see if we can get some help from the town using some heavier equipment to bring in some
Well, they're gonna
compost
need
and
to
fill
go
it
in there
in,
and get the
get the ties taken out and.
the railroad ties out of there.
And we would need to amend that area because it's basically just sand and rocks. We would need to add in some compost or other good soil and till that in. And that's where we might require some assistance from some people that have some equipment.
I know some guys.
But my question for you guys was what is the expanded area? Because I know we originally just were talking about the playground equipment area, but what is the area you guys would like me to focus on? So that way I can
I think
determine
we
how many
should
plants we
start.
need to get.
You know, if we want to have that, path that would like maybe go from the back of the pavilion around and stay, which would kind of define the area, the parking area for the DNR people.
Mhm.
It would kind of define that. And then maybe it would end up hooking on like right here, swinging like that
Yeah.
around. And if we got that,
How much of this area here is used for parking during the really busy time?
absolutely none of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Those-
some, like, they pretty much.
Do they
stay
look
to
in there?
this-
Oh, yeah.
This side.
Yeah,
They do?
Yeah,
They're out into
it's
that.
usually pretty full because we have a lot
Yeah.
of our renters get very upset. Because it sort of congested the paid parking area.
It's not an area for parking. They
I will say to Linda, it's more of a Saturday, Sunday. It's not-
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not during the week, but on the weekend where that paved parking ends, goes straight out from there, it's cars.
Mm.
Yeah, clear out into there, they'll
Oh,
park
really?
Doesn't
way out.
our property kind of end right there, doesn't it?
No,
No,
That pink
it's
line.
right there, the pink
That
line.
pink
This is
line?
all ours.
all that's ours.
Oh, see, I thought that like from here over belonged to DNR.
Nope, this
No,
is
they-
DNR's right here.
Just like, yeah,
We're landlocked.
We are landlocked, yes.
Okay.
yes.
We have to trespass to get to our park.
But people use that area out there, so you'd have to block that off if you don't want them to park there anymore.
Let's keep your plantings out along this wetland area here.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
And what I was envisioning with the path was that it would kind of start here, somewhere in there, wrap around the outside of the pavilion, kind of sticking to as far to the outside of our property as we can go with it. And then, like Linda said, coming back here and back towards the parking lot somewhere. But if we do that, then we could plant around the outside in the back of the pavilion. That's just a nice little nature walk, basically.
Mhm.
And I mean, we could fill in the entire area within that walking thing with native plants. We could leave some grassy area.
Mhm.
Um, Ever since I mowed grass for a living, I kind of like the idea of getting rid of grass and planting things that you don't have to mow.
I'm sure guys would appreciate it, they didn't have to move back there.
So, Mike, would you be able to find out, I guess, get the ball rolling for looking into putting a path around the outside of that? Don't know what we'd need to do for that, get an estimate, find out where
Maybe
it
very-
can fit.
what's that?
The Barry could find out, maybe. Perhaps.
We can, so starting here, do you want to stay on the dry land or be right on the bank?
Um,
Is this an elevated walkway through here?
I looked at a lot of stuff when we were planning this, and I honestly think the easiest, best solution for that is to just do an asphalt thing like we have at Cummins. Something that's nice and wide. But if it's raised up a little bit above ground level, if it floods, that'll be the first thing that dries, and it'll be low enough that if there are things like turtles and other
Okay,
wildlife want to cross and get into that native area.
so you're looking at asphalt around here
That's my thought, but I'm open to suggestions.
to about this point and then going straight back.
Yeah,
My only concern with asphalt is it floods, especially if you're going that, just the part. I don't know how long asphalt's going to last. This is a big, larger expense, but concrete or a different, like pavers. That would be just food for thought there,
yeah.
because that whole area, I mean, it's marshy.
Yeah, I'm not sure we can even get a paver back through there. I just haven't,
And that's
depending on how close we are.
what I would wonder is what they would even be able to physically do.
Yeah. Some options,
So,
Gravel would wash away, right?
yeah.
Yeah, you
Mulch.
wouldn't have any gravel, you wouldn't have any mulch.
And if you did a raised wood or some other composite walk
Yeah.
path through there, then it entails some railing. Cause somebody will fall off in the river.
mhm. I think that would look really nice. I know I like that in the
Yeah.
parks, but there we'd have a lot more annual maintenance and upkeep for that
Yeah,
than
maybe so.
asphalt. But Jill, you brought up a good point that the freeze and thaw, that how long is that asphalt gonna last? How is
How old's the path in
I was just gonna
Condon
ask that.
Park? That's 30 years old,
Yeah.
40 years old? Like, I have no idea.
I don't either, but
Where?
it's been there a
See, I'm
while.
in my
Is it
yeah.
27th year as a paramedic, and that's been there longer than I've been a fireman paramedic.
Been
In
there
Condon
since I've
Park.
known.
And we haven't had to replace
done
that or
one
repair
thing
that
to it.
asphalt,
I
right?
mean, there's some cracks in it and stuff,
Yeah.
but it's like, other than that, the asphalt lasts.
Yeah, except it's a little different soils, I think, along
Yeah.
here than what you've got in Condon.
Yeah.
better drainage and this will flood. I think most springs of water will get up in there. I'm just not sure on paving equipment. They're going to want a nice base, sand
Base.
or gravel
Yeah.
base. Um,
And I don't know, with concrete, they might still want that.
I think the same thing.
Yeah,
You need a good,
right.
I mean, I just think you're gonna have some sort of, the other wetland areas I've seen has been elevated
Mhm.
walk wood or
Yeah.
some kind of composite. I'll get with Eric tomorrow and see if he's got some ideas and
What I have observed when when we have had flooding issues there, it's really, I'm sure it does flood in other areas, but the worst hit area for flooding where the water is always
Right in.
standing is right in there, and it's for some reason drier as you move closer to
Huh. Oh, is it like coming up like high groundwater, right?
yeah, I think it's groundwater that's coming up there.
Yeah.
And it's probably a little bit lower elevation.
The guy that built the steps at Condon, I think he's still doing business. Maybe we get him in here. He did a good job on steps. He was very reasonable.
Mhm.
Another option, and I don't remember if Stan Tech recommended this or if it's just another option that I saw when I was researching. It's been a couple of years. But you said gravel will wash away, but you can do, I'm gonna say like a cinder block, but it's not a cinder block. It's designed for this, but it's an enclosed piece of concrete thing that you put down and you put your crushed rock inside of that. And you put put a lot of those together. So you kind of get a gravel walkway that doesn't allow the gravel to wash away. I think that's specifically used in areas where you get a little bit more water. But you're not gonna have as even and level. And I'd like it to be, wheelchair accessible, or if people wanna rollerblade, that kind of thing.
What about a combination of things like some sort of wood or composite along here and then asphalt that returns?
When you,
That'd be great.
when this park was built, okay? This is where the river went. The river went here and right smack across here. And then they filled all that in.
Huh.
So when the river, when it floods,
Tries to go back
It
to
goes
the
That
back.
old river, yeah.
it goes back to its natural. So the worst place that we're gonna have problems with, it's gonna be right in here.
Yeah, and that's what
As
it looked
far
like
as-
to me,
as
where the
far as
water was
running-
collecting.
Running current
Mhm.
water.
Well, you
Yeah,
never
so
do
then
that
old-
today.
Hmm.
You never be able to do that today.
Oh, no, that was a good old boys. They got a lot
I
of
mean,
things
that was
done.
like, that's the town dump. That's what that used to be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that either.
So as soon as the weather warms up and it thaws,
that's why
that's the time.
because they had to dig all that out. And
There's,
they put in all the fill dirt back there after they dug the dump out.
Well, yeah, so we're fighting.
there are
We know
plans
what else
out
to do.
there in some of the park board stuff where they start with their plans back here. And they went this way. Like this. And they had bridges and wooden structures and blah, 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 and paths and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But I don't know who did that.
Is that town property over to the east?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
We're not
I was
sure.
gonna check and it's not letting me, let me.
Is it
Oh, yeah.
And you
McAfee?
probably have such a hard time getting
McAfee?
approval to build anything back there, right? Wouldn't there be some? quite a
We
few?
wouldn't ask permission necessarily depends what we're building.
Yeah.
For a walkway, I would never go to the county for a permit. That would just not be necessary.
Just build it.
It would be, our town would be issuing the permits.
Exactly.
Okay, so for my purposes, at least with the planting, are you guys wanting me to consider basically this whole area?
Sharon Mantle.
Yeah, I would.
Okay,
I'd stay in line with the top edge of that, the paved drive there in front of Hermance, closest
Okay.
to the building, and just move straight to the back of the park.
So I've got a pretty good plant list for what was gonna go into this area, and I know the size of it, so I'll get out there sometime and take some measurements to try to get an estimate of the overall size, and then I should be able to give you guys
I think
a better idea of how many plants we'll need and therefore a
I think
price.
what we did, Mike, is we went around this tree. But we had something here, we even had a tree planted right there. Do you,
In our plan?
yeah,
Yeah, we've got a plan to put in at least one tree, and that was just in that area.
yeah,
But
it's down, we're down into here.
Yeah,
like
it was
this-
down, it was,
That
quite a ways
whole
down.
area there.
so I'll get that area figured out and then,
I mean, if we plant it, then just rope it off and guess they can't park there anymore. Pretty easy.
and I got assistance from the plant experts on what types of plants would be good to put in there. And last summer, I would say, I talked to someone from Wild Birds Unlimited. And she gave me some more information about how if we want to try to attract native birds and even bats and things like that. She was basically saying you really want to plan that out well from the beginning. I thought it was something we could kind of piecemeal, we put some trees in there and it would attract the birds, but she did give me some contact information from some folks at like the Purdue Extension Center and tree specialists that can help us get that plan going, because I guess it was more entailed than I understood. And basically the thought was you want to get that right from the beginning. Otherwise you're attracting things you don't want or that type of thing. So that's part of what slowed it down, is I realized I had a lot more research to do. But I'll get that going, and Linda's expressed an interest in trying to get at least some of this done yet this year. And I
My
think
wife has to.
I think that's perfectly doable. And yeah, if you've got anybody that's interested in being involved with that planning process, have them reach out to me. And I'll look back at who I had spoken with before and get that ball rolling again.
Michael, if you want, we can put like a little PSA out there on our Facebook page. If you wanna type something up for volunteers.
Yep.
I'll contact you.
Yeah, I
You
can do
just
that.
draft something up and the wording and we can get that posted. It went pretty well with the farmer's market.
Yeah, I think that went great.
I just think the walking path, that could be a large expense, especially a capital project, but that's something we can still get the wetland garden started, and that can always be done in sections or in years to come.
Yeah, I wanted an idea of where we wanted to have that, so I
Yeah.
could figure out where I could plant plants at. But yeah, and Mike, if you could start that discussion, working with some folks to find out what they recommend. And what I was gonna say was if you wanna have some folks look at that when it is relatively flooded. Some of the worst flooding that I've witnessed is at least after we've had big snows like this, the first day or two after it warms up, when that melts. So if you can coordinate.
Maybe
somebody to come
next week.
visit. Yeah, if that's when we're gonna get some warm weather again, I don't know, but
But that 41-degree day coming for the
Yeah.
rain where it's gonna.
yeah, especially when it gets warm and rainy, that's when I at least witnessed the worst of the flooding out there. So. Okay, any other thoughts or discussion on the wetland planting update for Hermance Park? Nope. Okay, moving on, I just wanted to update you guys regarding the Memorial Park memorial proposal that I brought up last meeting. I did get a price estimate for, what I did was I took a picture of the sign that's out there, and it's the state sign.
Mhm. The big one?
The one that's, it's on a post, and it's engraved bronze. And I just sent them a picture of that and said if we could have something that had a similar look or appearance to this. So they gave me an estimate based on a 2 foot by 3 foot sign that would be on a post. And I did bring up the fact that you said we had some bronze that was stolen from one of our other ones. So she gave me an estimate for a kind of aluminum that's treated, so it won't work. It's not gonna rust or weather,
Mhm.
and it's much cheaper than bronze. But a 2 foot by 3 foot sign printed on one side, would be $4,500. Is what the initial estimate was. So is that something that we feel like we could afford if we wanted to continue to look into this and start to reach out to the community to see if we have interest from any family members of people who've lost loved ones? Or do you have any questions for me about that?
I think I'd like to still, and I haven't done it, see what's going on with the museum, because they have a memorial that they do. But I wonder if people have done what they're gonna do and they're not gonna do anymore, or if they haven't had any interest in it lately. But I'll call and see if I can get a hold of somebody who might know about that.
Okay, yeah, if you can provide us with some more information about that, that would definitely be helpful in our planning.
I don't think that cost is unreasonable.
Now, as far as timing of it, Mike had a meeting today with NDOT, and I believe he said last month that we basically don't know how much of that park is gonna be impacted by the work they're doing.
Well, yeah, so we talk a little bit more about that now. So I don't think the NDOT project is going to impact this, but it will be our water project.
For the water project, yes.
So I didn't tell you the whole story this afternoon. I think what we're going to be doing is doing a directional bore north and going under the river. So that directional bore is not going to impact us because we'll be well below, but our new water main ends somewhere here, and we have to connect that to this line and under the river and over here. I think we're going to connect it to this line. So the current plan is to go diagonal. So at some point, this will all be tore up through here. That's the project that will mess
Okay.
up that park at some point, unless there's been a last minute change to this design based upon the underwater,
Will that be this summer?
early summer, most likely. We need to get this done before NDOT starts messing around in this area. On March 10th, they're going to start their project right about here and go that way, south side of the road.
So then, Michael, you want to table that till fall?
Yeah, I think for now I could do some more research, get better pricing, make some phone calls to folks, find out about the interest. I'd like to have it planned and ready to go for the fall if we can do that.
Yeah, I don't
Or at least work on the planning so that we can be ready to move ahead as soon as we're able. And I was actually thinking that we put it more back towards the back side of the park.
Mhm.
So if it's mainly just out here that's gonna be affected, you know, but at the same time, if it is torn up right there and we wanna do some sort of a ceremony or an event for unveiling, I'm not sure that would be
Since-
fun to have a.
Since the town now owns the entire park and this little area gazebo or whatever's had some age on it, I mean, it's got a new roof, but is it time to rethink the design of the entire area, maybe? Take advantage of what's being ripped up and
I think yes.
the other thing, somebody said, I asked last month,
Yeah.
you know, how are you going to determine the names that go on this? And I mean, it's kind of, you're saying anybody, so certainly suddenly you run out of room. Somebody suggested, I don't know, if it was Jill or you, Linda, that maybe focus this on people who served in the military, veterans, recognized Bristol residents that have served in the military. So that gives you a more defined list, a defined purpose for that sign in your memorial park.
Well, I was just thinking of one person, and that's Chris Brown. She did so much for this town,
Mhm.
and that she's not military.
Yeah, I was,
She was a school
yeah, I
teacher,
know,
but-
so,
So
And
I
that's the
don't
other
know.
ones I had thought of were school teachers as well.
Yeah.
And then
So,
Mrs. Collins would be the other one.
well, and then Tommy Thompson is who already has that stone there, and the Methodist Church has that memorial out there for him.
In this park, yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's the
did
one that's in
actually-
front of the
sorry.
swing.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I did actually find some county mortality rates and did an estimate. And given the mortality rates in Bristol's population is 1,200, I rounded up to 2,000 if we're incorporating a little bit larger area than just the town residents. But given the mortality rates, I found we'd be looking at 100 total deaths in the last 6 years. And I thought if we got half
It
of
was a
those
morbid
involved-
study.
Isn't it? Yeah. But I found some numbers and I figured if we even only got, I'd be surprised if we got half of the people
see.
who passed to
Mhm.
sign up, that'd be 50 names. And so that was the number that I gave to the engraving company. And she said that they could easily fit 50 names on a 2 foot by 3 foot.
Could they fit more than 50 names, or are you gonna be maxed out at 50?
She said easily 50, so I think we could fit more. And that the estimate I got is for a one-sided engraving, and if we had more than that, we could look into doing the backside engraved as well. So, but yes, I think we do need to, as part of the research and discussion about this, we do need to come up with some parameters. But yeah, I meant to share that number with you guys when I gave you the 4,500. She said 50 names would fit. And based on my morbid study, I think that might be it. I think it would be a maximum number of people.
I don't know, how many burials a year do we do in Oakland?
Oak Ridge.
Oak Ridge, yeah.
I don't know.
Like, we do enough that
We
we
might do,
eliminated the tax rate out there because there's a profit center for us.
I would say 50 maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are asking the question, I have to look that stuff up, park rentals,
I got
Yeah,
nothing.
how many people die and are buried?
burials. And how much we charge them.
Yeah.
Good question.
So any other questions or thought or input on the memorial proposal? Anything?
Can I ask one question about the memorial?
Sure.
Is there gonna be like an application, or is it just gonna be what other family member wants to have a name on that wall? What are the parameters?
I think we should have some sort of application.
I was just,
Your application for the farmer's market got me inspired to think about what that might look like. But yeah, I think basically just saying if you've had someone that's passed away, say since 2020, that you'd like to memorialize their name, have their name added to the list of other people in Bristol that we've lost. Fill out the application and let us know. And then I think we said before, but I want to just reiterate that, if we say 2020 and we say, within this number of miles from town center, if there's somebody that comes to us that says, lost my dad in 2019 and, we'd like to have him included, I think we should be flexible, especially if we have the room for it.
sure,
If we start to take names and we get to a certain number, I mean, we might have to rethink some things, but I think we have to have some parameters to just narrow it down, but then be flexible with how that works in case we have anybody that's just outside that city limit zone or so. Any other thoughts there? Okay. In the coming months, keep me posted if you have any thoughts about anything, and Linda, if you get any information from the museum, please share that with us.
Okay.
Last thing we have is the election of park board president and vice president. I haven't been here for the election for that for a while. Do we nominate?
We do.
Okay, so Scott
Last
Draven.
year you weren't here for the nomination when you got nominated.
Right, so that's why I didn't know how it worked.
happens.
Yeah, which is how that occurred. I think Linda nominated you last year.
Did you want me to do that again?
So,
I wouldn't mind if you'd be willing.
Okay, well, I nominate Mike Rock. He said he was interested for another year, so
I second.
I accept. All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Vote carried. And I guess I will nominate Scott Dreamer to be vice president. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Seconded by Linda Powell. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, votes carried. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it, and I hope to continue to work hard to be the president of the board. My ears are always open
And
for
we
feedback.
usually we've reappointed Rosemary. Not sure how that's going to be going, and I think maybe we'll just let that ride for a while, do you think, or?
Yeah.
Okay,
She's
I had
supposed to be
forgotten that we
coming
voted
home
on that. I thought she just,
Thursday.
she just gets that position.
Well, we usually
But no.
appoint, it's
Yeah,
a
you're right.
it's
That
a
should be-
appointed position.
We kind of depend upon her to say that she's interested.
Right, right. So we'll table that until she can join us again.
Does that mean Linda's doing the minute?
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean you're doing the minutes until that time?
No, I'm taking whatever you guys send
She's
me.
hoping that AI does
I
it.
was gonna say AI is doing the
and they
minutes
do-
now. I
do
think.
the minutes.
So I
I
did
mean,
record this in a way that we can try and funnel it that way.
It works really
Yeah.
pretty neat.
You see the scandalous blue. This is scandalous, folks. The
Yeah.
town of Bristol supposedly owns all of this land right now. See right there?
Okay.
But
There is a
What?
but.
It's the back half of the red
A,
bird and
I&M, because they didn't want to pay taxes on it anymore, and they claimed that they gave this to the town like 400 years ago. They went into the assessor's office and convinced them that the town owns this, and the assessor's office just changed our name.
Did they-
Okay.
why did they do
The
that?
Lambrights down here are not too pleased.
I was gonna say, so are you gonna put your Riverwalk in there then, Mike?
Well, no, because there is no Riverwalk project right now, but the Lambrights hired an attorney from out of the county. And she has sued the town of Bristol and I don't know, 2 or 3 other entities and the world, seriously, and the world, that they own that. So we're settling that and we're gonna just, yeah, it's theirs. So we'll move on.
Wild. Which law firm represents the world? That's.
Yeah, no, it's like, well, if you think about it, it's like anybody who has interest in this. We're notifying you that
Gotcha,
we believe
gotcha.
that we own this and that we're asking the court to clear the title.
Right.
And so anyways, fun stuff. Anyhow, yeah.
Okay. Any old business, any new business? Thank you for having those maps prepared for me, Mike.
Sure.
That was helpful. Next meeting is gonna be March 3rd, 2026, 6 PM, Bristol Town Hall. I make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.